How is everybody? Having a good vacation so far? Costa Rica? Yes. Getting some sun, that's for sure. So, how many of you were at my talk yesterday? Yeah. So, have you thought about it? Has it lingered in your mind just a little bit? The who am I, right? Have you thought about the way that you approach the world and the way that you introduce yourself and the way you show up? Yeah. That makes me happy just to hear that. That's really one of the things that I want to do is as long as I can just crack you open just a little bit and have you leave here with a new concept, new idea, new approach to your life. And sometimes it really just takes that little tiny tweak and a whole big thing opens up. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so today, and this is a talk, it's not absolutely my favorite, but I know it's super important. Longevity, right? It does speak to a lot of what I talk about is the limitations that we're taught, that we think about, and the way that we approach life, and really just the way society approaches growing old, right? Longevity. Um, and I don't know if you know this, but do you realize there's over 8 billion people on this planet now? Somewhere around there. 8 billion, even maybe 9 billion at this point. We have a pretty big population of people. And yet, most people would say that they feel very isolated and alone. So even as our population is growing at a very massive rate, in fact, it is rare for us to really be alone. Almost always you walk outside, you're going to find yourself in a crowd of people, yet more people today report they feel isolated, alone, not seen, not understood. Here we have these opportunities to connect with so many people, but most people have lost that ability to connect. Yeah? And instead, we connect with this thing, screens. Many of us spend most of our time looking at screens. Screens that are flashing at you lots and lots of information, most of it designed to instigate fear and worry. Right? Ads that are created to stimulate within you that feeling of I'm not enough, I need something, I'm broken, and here's the fix. Right? And we're looking at it over and over again, and all we're thinking is, what is wrong with us? That's what's being reinforced. We're staring at a screen that's reminding us that we're not enough. We're broken in some way. And the answer is somehow in that screen, consumerism, something that you can buy, something that you can do, something that's outside of you. And this is leading to 1 in 5 people currently being medicated. It's actually closer to 1 in 3. 1 in 3 people medicated. This is either self-medicated, 1 in 5 prescribed medication in the United States. That's how many people are feeling anxiety, depression, these sort of things, and searching for some sort of assistance in that. And what's really interesting, if we look over the last, say, 20 or 30 years, if you were in my first talk, then you know I come from that generation where we had yellow pages. You know, we had to look at things, you know, and the computer was this new thing, and you had to do dial-up, and it was like crazy and awesome. And now we've got everything we could ever need in this little tiny thing that we can put in our pocket, right? And so convenience is massive right now, right? We really don't need to long for much or yearn for much. Instant gratification is what we've achieved, pretty much, right? We are highly comfortable. And if you have a discomfort, we will figure out that solution to make you comfortable. Yeah? So over the last, say, 20, 30 years, our comforts have increased significantly. I mean, to the degree that we could be sitting here right now, you could probably pick out your phone, and you might be able to order a pizza and have it delivered by some sort of drone. I mean, that's going to be tomorrow, next week, right? This is happening. We don't even have to get up anymore. It's all there. And yet, even with this increase in comfort, we are seeing a decrease in happiness and joy, right? We also see this increase in depression, anxiety, panic disorder, separation, isolation, all of those feelings I was just describing. So, and this cycles back to, again, also in that first talk where I said the first step on my journey to getting where I am today, where I feel very healthy and happy and youthful, all of those things, my first step was learning how to be uncomfortable and find comfort there. Because that's where the magic is. The magic is stepping outside of our comfort zone. I saw a couple people today. How many of you did the canopy thing today? Yeah, the zip lines? We ran into somebody coming back and they were like, we just did this zip line, and she was like scared still, her face was still and I'm like, you know, hallelujah, right? You're living. That's something that your body craves and wants, right? If we're just waking up and going through the actions, doing the same things over and over again, right? Now she's got a story to tell. That's where life begins, at the edge of our comfort zone. But instead, for some reason, our society has decided the opposite. We got to get more comfortable, even though that's not working in any capacity. Something else that we all know, I hope, right? Mental health directly impacts our physical health, right? If we are not feeling good mentally, if we're feeling anxious, we're feeling isolated, we're feeling scared, we're feeling alone, oftentimes that is going to turn into some sort of physical health problem. Because it leads to things like stagnancy. When we're depressed, are we moving? Are we eating good foods? Are we taking care of ourselves in any way? And when we're fearful and we're having anxiety, do you guys know the hormone that's released into the body when you're anxious? Cortisol, yes. Adrenaline, yes. These sort of things. Do you think they're good for your body? No, they are not. They're devastating to the systems of the body. And yet many people will get doses of those all day long, just walking, have a thought, and then boom, this release of adrenaline into their system. And then we're trying to manage that by medicating. And then we medicate, and now the whole system's off. And what do we think happens there? So we know mental health directly impacts physical health to the degree where they say somewhere around 1 in 3 people in the United States has 2 or more chronic disorders, something like this. I don't know why that slide's not on here. It might show up later, but but yeah, can you know, this is, and it's just things that we learn to live with. I remember I live in a highly populated area. It's like right by the water, and so there's lots of people. There's a Hyatt right next to me, so people traveling, coming in, and they're walking around, and I'll be walking my dog down by the water, and for some reason, the other day, I was just noticing, I observed people a lot, and I saw this group of people. They were older, and one of the guys he looked extremely unhealthy, like that pale skin. He looked like he had that edema. I think it's like swelling in the legs, right? He had a cane, all of these things going on, right? And you know, not all of that happened at once, right? It started with one little thing. And then that one little thing just becomes part of what you're living with, right? And once we decide this is just what we're living with, do you think that that might disrupt some other systems in the body and then add to, now we've got this going on? Oftentimes we have one situation, we're medicating for it. Well, have you ever read the adverse effects on the side of your medication? I mean, holy shit, right? It's pretty amazing, some of the things that we're like, yeah, I'll chance it. I mean, what? You're taking some, and then you end up with that thing, and now we're dealing with that too, and then the next thing happens, and the next thing happens, and next thing you know, this is just what you're living with. Like, he's probably just accepted this is just his life. The edema, and it's like, where does that come from? Why in our society have we gotten there where we've decided our body should just fall to pieces and decline, and this is just something we're going to live with? And again, my goal is, as I'm not judging, I'm not saying anything is bad or wrong, I'm just saying let's look at it and ask, why is that? where does that come from? And my question would be, well, what if? What if that didn't have to happen? What if there's a whole lot of people that benefit from you being sick and believing that you just have to live with these things? Right? Huge industry, huge industry. Not in wellness, not in keeping you healthy. There's a huge industry on the other side of that. So today is the day that we could choose differently. So again, my goal, to open up your mind, to have like this possibility, this idea of just, well, what if? What if I have been looking at life from this place that is quite limited, and there is this other way I could be viewing things? So this, has anybody heard of this before, the Milgram shock experiment? It's something I love to bring up. It's I think it was during COVID that, or maybe a couple years before that, that I found this. It was like a documentary or some sort of movie where they were talking about this experiment. And what it was, this is many, many years ago, like in the 60s or the 70s, they were trying to look at how people fall under the control of authority. Why is it that for example, in the Holocaust, those sort of things, like how did people end up just following along, and why? These are good people, kind people, but they'll end up doing maybe not so kind things under this, authority figure, right? So the Milgram experiment was, they were looking at this. Well, why does this happen? So what this looked like was this. There would be this guy right here, and this would be the only person who was really, they were looking at for the experiment, right? He's the guy who's not in on it. These other two, they're actors. Okay, so these two are actors, they're in on the experiment. This guy walks in completely unknown. He thinks that this guy is also the same as him. They're both walking in, and this is the only one running the experiment. So when they walk into the room, these two walk in together as if they're just like both here to, to participate in this experiment. They walk in, and they're seated, they're told to sit down, and then this other guy walks up to him and says, hello, welcome, hi, so excited you're here. And he has two envelopes, and he hands both of them an envelope. He says, here's your payment. We'll say it's $500. You've already got it. Here's your money. You could leave right now. That's yours. Thank you for showing up. It's yours no matter what. There's a check in there. You can leave. Okay? And then he says, if you're going to stay, I have behind me, I have these two choices, right? So this is going to be your role in the experiment. And of course, they lean to the one guy who's part of the experiment, but they don't know, right? And they say, just pick any hand. And that guy picks the hand, which he knows what he's going to get, right? And he becomes this guy. He picks that role, which leaves this guy as the teacher. Okay, so essentially he's the student, he's the teacher, and this is the authority figure. Okay, and again, the authority figure is this is the only one that doesn't know what's happening. So this guy goes, both of these two actually walk behind a wall, and there is a whole big machine that is set up that is designed to administer a shock. And so it looks scary. It's a big machine. It's got all of these dials on there and all of these different controls. And there's like a shock wave from like 40 to like 300 and all these different things. And they tell this guy, here, we want you to see what the shock feels like. So they hook him up to the machine, and they put the knob all the way to the lowest level. So it's at 40, like a really small shock. And then they administer the shock. And the guy's like, ow. She's like, shit, that's painful, right? And then they just take it off, and they show him, they let him watch as now they put those things on this guy, and then they escort him out of the room. So now he's on the other side of the wall. He no longer sees this guy, but what the last he saw him, he's hooked up to this shock machine, right? And then what he's told is his job is to be over here, have a microphone. He's going to be talking to this guy behind the wall, and he's going to ask him questions. If the guy gets the question wrong, he is to administer a shock. It starts low. It starts at like the 40, the thing he had felt. Actually, no, they say the first shock starts at double. So he felt 40. He has control of the dial of the shock. He's sitting here outside. He's supposed to turn it to 80 and administer the shock. He does, and he hears a scream from the other side of the wall. A really scary, death-defying scream, because that's what this paid actor is, here to do, right? And he's like, what just happened? Like, he knows he just inflicted pain on somebody. He's in control. He just inflicted pain, right? And, oh, perfect. It came back. That's a miracle. We already had a miracle today. Okay, so then he'll look back at this guy, and that guy's the authority figure. And by the way, this guy is often wearing, he was in the beginning, a white lab coat. Yeah? Because that established authority. That's literally it. He didn't have to show him anything else. They know nothing else about him but that white lab coat. He's an authority figure. So guess what? He looks back at this guy, and the guy goes, please go ahead. So he continues. He'll ask the next question, and the guy inevitably gets it wrong. He's supposed to, again, turn the knob and administer another shock. Eventually, the guy, the actor back here, is actually told to be quiet. So eventually he stops screaming when the shocks come. And at no point does this guy ever go and check on them. The door's right there. They were shown where they could. They'll never go and check on them. And do you know what they found in these experiments? How many people went all the way through? By the way, at about halfway point, it says danger, do not go past this as far as administering shocks. It actually has a danger, do not go past. That's at halfway. Do you know how many shocks they have to do after that? A lot. And you want to guess how many people go all the way through this experiment with the shocks? Almost every single one. So a lot of these would be women as well. And what they found is afterwards they would ask the people, why? Why didn't you stop? And they were like, I don't know. I don't know. He told me to keep going. And there's no coercion. In fact, this guy isn't even supposed to look at him. He just goes, please continue. He gives no energy. There's no coercion in any capacity other than the lab coat. It became something where they actually considered it to be inhumane to do this, because the people were so disturbed afterwards that they had done that. They couldn't understand. They were like, I'm a good person. I don't know why I would do that, why I caused harm on this person. I could have walked away at any point. And there were a few that actually did walk away. But most people went all the way through. And when they changed the experiment, they actually made the guy take the lab coat off. That changed results. Less people went all the way. Still pretty significant. I encourage you to look it up. But what's interesting about this is, what I believe is every one of us are no different than these people. And we just walk through life this way. And what happens is, now, every one of us is going to sit there and we're going to do the first shock. Everybody, you're going to do the first shock. Now that you know you hurt that person, now you have one choice. It is admit you did that, you caused harm on somebody, and then choose to no longer do it again. Or to say, I didn't do that from my free will. I was following instructions. And I lay the blame on that person back here, the authority figure, and then I can continue going forward. Which one do you think feels easier for us? Yeah, the second one. We want to say that it's somebody else, right? And to continue forward. It's really hard for us to say, if I stop today doing this action, I have to admit, I could have stopped way back when. For example, the things that I'm trying to share with you, that's going to be the hardest thing about some of the messages that I might say, is if we admit today, right, to stop doing the shocking, then we have to say, shit, I could have stopped way back here. I caused all of that harm. And that's why most people are not willing to do this work, because we are not willing to say, I could have changed those actions. I might even cause myself harm or others harm because of those actions. And that's okay, because I didn't know, but now I do. So going forward, can make a different choice. Right? It's not for the faint of heart, the path I'm asking us to walk on. But I think that it's time in our society that we start to do this. We start to look at things and go, are they really working? And make the change. And it takes one of you to walk back into your community and start sharing what I'm sharing with you, with other people, and suddenly it ripples into the world. These are the expectations. I mean, this is what most people expect, right, out of our life. You know, in America, chronic illness, do you not agree this is what's expected? After 65, we should see some chronic illness, correct? I mean, your doctor would say, well, sorry, you're 65, shit. And what do you want me to do about it, yeah? I mean, that's what we expect. We expect arthritis, back pain. It's inevitable, of course. People walk around and they just don't even of course, that's just part of life, yeah. And they want to validate their pain by right away, well, I am 65. I am you know what I mean, you get it, right? Yeah, I just not too long ago, I remember taking a yoga class, and I'm inside the yoga class, and it was a really, really hard class. And in my own mind, I was giving myself that out. Well, you are this old. You know what I mean? You don't have to. And I was like, oh my God, it's that easy. That's how easy it comes in, just like that. Once you give yourself that excuse of the age, and who decided that? It's always been effing hard. When I was 20, that yoga class would have been goddamn hard. I put a 15-year-old in that class, they would be falling over. I'm a gangster. I'm so strong in that class, yet I gave myself that lame-ass excuse because that's what the world told me. It's not true. It is not true. It doesn't have to be true. Frailty, falls, loss of functions are expected at this age, yes? Yeah, this is what's expected. And so the best possibility we could hope for is over here. That's the best possibility. That's what we're told. To do that, to have these best possibilities, again, best possibilities, we have to say that we have made deposits in our health, the bank of our health. Right? One of the things that I often think is people will get to a certain age, and then, for example, you have an expectation because you've all probably got savings accounts and you put money in the bank for a long time in those savings accounts. So you got to a certain age and now you expect that you get to travel, you get to do your things, right? You have that wealth because you put that money in the bank, right? You could have spent it back but you didn't. You put it away in the bank. Did you do the same for your health? Did you do the same? Did you put things in the bank of your health? Did you do yoga every day or exercise every day or breath work? Did you ask your body what it needed? Did you make the right choices food-wise? And all of that is going to compound how you believe you should feel today because you know what you put in your bank. Yeah? But in society, we don't say that. We say, eat whatever, go order the pizza. In fact, all you see on commercials is cheese, meat, and then the next commercial is are you in pain? You should try this. I mean, that's what and you wonder, but that's what we do. This is what we expect as far as mental, decline, right? We also have this expectation. Cognitive decline. I mean, we would absolutely expect that. If you see somebody sharp in their 70s, you're wow, you're wowed. If somebody's sharp in their 80s, you're wowed. Why? Why is that? Why do we believe that our body, have you ever cut your body somewhere? Have you guys ever accidentally had a cut in your skin? What happens? It heals. I wonder how. Do you do that? Do you know how it happens? Because your body's fucking magnificent. It's amazing. Every single cell in your body has so much wisdom and intelligence, it would blow your mind. It knows how to be healthy. It wants to be healthy. You are an organism. Do you know what that means? You want to be organized. Your cells want to be organized. They want to be in harmony and balance and health. They want that. Guess who the common denominator is that's causing the freaking problems? Us. We get in, we interject. The body's trying to balance itself and we stop. We stop it. How many of you go regularly to a doctor to be checked, have your blood checked, have these things? Yeah, because we're told this is the right thing to do. Well, what if your body is mid-process? What if you had just gone through some traveling? You had gone over here. You're in a brand new ecosystem. You've been eating some different foods. And the intelligence of your body was, it was balancing itself out. It was saying, oh, we're somewhere new. So it's maybe giving you some different hormones and some different white blood cells. Some other stuff is coming in and your body's trying to balance itself. Right then, you go to your doctor to get your blood checked. And your doctor says, oh, geez, you've got a problem here. And then what do? We take some medicine. So we go right into the center of your body trying to organize and fix itself. And we stop the process. In my first talk, I talked about everything is destruction to creation, right? Everything is destruction first and then creation. And your body does this. It's magical. It truly is. It knows what it's doing. But we get into the middle of it. We don't trust our own bodies. These are some of the things, when we see longevity, when we think about longevity, these are the things that you will see in the people that live the fullest and longest lives. If you talk to anybody living a full and long life, I don't care if you're 100 and you've been bedridden for 20 years. That means nothing to me. I want to talk to the person that's 100 and they're living their best life. And there are so many of them. In Costa Rica, by the way. In Costa Rica. Do you know what a blue spot is? Yeah? Somebody want to share it? What? Oh, she's giving us the names of where they are. Do you know what it is? Why it's called a blue spot? Yeah. Yeah. That's right. It's actually the way that they define it. It's the highest number of centennials per capita, and there's a couple of these places in Costa Rica. I think there's 7 in the world. Highest number of centennials, which means people over 100 per capita. And in Costa Rica, these people are not medicated. In fact, many of them would say, I've never even been to a hospital. I'm not taking any regular medications. I don't do any of that stuff. It's just not part of the society norms, right? But these are the things we see: joy, movement, nutrition, community, purpose. Yes? Are all of these things the things that we live for? Yeah, we need each other. We need each other. We need community, right? Nutrition. Nutrition, by the way, is different for everybody. We got to stop looking at what's the fucking fad. Because you could validate anything. You could look at, your phone and it could tell you, people are drinking gasoline now because it's the new thing and it's amazing for you. And that might work for somebody. It might. But we got to know our bodies. We should build a relationship with our own body. I should know what I need, not by looking at what you used. We've got to start talking to our own body. And it's got the information. It will tell you what it needs. It knows. So what I did is I gathered some of this for you. These are the number 1 places that people actually live the longest and the happiest, by the way. We have Portugal. And here's some of the reasons why. This is ChatGPT. Thank you so much. But we have diet. So some of the things: rich in olive oil, fresh seafood, legumes, vegetables. What you don't see is meat. But just throwing that in there out of love. Okay, so lifestyle: slow-paced, walkable city, strong community culture. Yeah, you'll see this a lot. A lot is in the places where people live the longest. You're going to see a lot of people that it's slow-paced. Number 1, like Costa Rica, there is no get up and go. Pura Vida is the opposite. They might close their business and walk away just because they have no. It's the opposite. And walkable. They walk everywhere. Healthcare, universal system, affordable price, spiritual vibe, peaceful, coastal towns, soulful traditions. Those are things where you'll see people live, and this is what we're looking at in here. Costa Rica, again, the blue zone. So here's some of the things that you're seeing: active aging through gardening, walking, community, rituals, healthcare, public and private. Um, it's so funny because we revere in the United States, like we have the best healthcare system. Are you kidding me right now? It's crazy. And then I know so many people that travel to Costa Rica for their healthcare from the United States because it's affordable and amazing. Italy, same thing. We're looking at pretty much like it's very similar, right? And these are the ones. These are from number 1, 2, 3, highest rated of longevity, places that you would live and have a high quality life all the way into, you know, your hundreds if you wanted to. Again, we're looking at a lot of what you'll see is deep family ties, reverence for elders. These are things where places where elders are revered instead of, oh, you know, it's shunned that you're growing old. The way that we see it. We see it here in some of these countries as wisdom. You're revered, you know, loved, cherished, taken care of. Another blue zone. So here's some other honorable mentions. It said Greece, Japan, and Sweden, and some of the reasons why. So what makes these places thrive? And I just kind of, you know, it broke it down. These are the main things that you're seeing: devotion, spiritual practices, rituals, and purpose, community. Elders are integrated, not isolated. Think of that. Think of the difference there. That's huge. Elders are integrated. Because it's seen as a gift to grow old instead of the way we see it. And it's amazing. So we fear the one thing that's inevitable. This is just something else I pulled up. I just asked, you know, like, here's the happiness score. What is the happiest places? And what you see is not only is the life expectancy the highest, it directly correlates. So happiness and life expectancy are intertwined, right? You're going to live a longer life the happier you are. And if you, this will be on, if you want to, in the room, you can always go and look at this talk, and you'll be able to see these slides if you want to grab them later. So here's some things that I was thinking, like, what is it about mental health? You know, like, remember, mental health directly impacts our physical health. Well, how do we keep our mental health healthy? How do we keep our mind healthy? And I'm going to go deeper into this in my next talk going forward. But for today, I thought, you know what? Digesting healthy content. I talked about that a little bit yesterday. So what you're looking at on your phone, so important. If you're looking at things that are fear-based, are saying that you're not enough, that are, you know, anti-this, anti-that, you know, all of that's going to show up. Your body feels that. And your mind feels that. It creates resistance. Stepping outside the comfort zone, as I said, you know, doing those things, pushing your edge, trying something new. Stepping outside your comfort zone might just be, I don't know, going to a community event, meeting new people, you know, trying something, a painting class if you've never done that, or dancing. Just trying something new. You know, that gives you something, you know, to live for, right? It's a moment that we're expanding. Your body wants that. And you're also learning a little bit about who you are. Because trying that new thing, you get to go, yep, I don't like this. Or I love it. Either way, guess who you're learning about? You. And there's no way you can know that until you try it. And always try things a couple times, please. Try things a couple times, because the first time it's new, right? It's always uncomfortable. Meditation helps us process all of that stuff that we've taken in. It is a good place to get to a baseline. If your brain is right now maybe polluted with all kinds of poisons and toxic content that you've taken in, and sometimes it's hard to avoid. I mean, you're just walking around, you know, the TVs will be playing these things, you know, stories your friends want to tell you. You get on the phone, somebody wants to tell you, and this content gets into our mind. So sometimes we just need to process all the toxic stuff. So taking a moment where we close our eyes and we don't have any more input gives your brain time to digest, to purify, and come back to your baseline. That's really all it is. So when people tell me, oh, I can't close my eyes, my brain is just going, good. Let it go so it can get all of that stuff out. It needs to run through it. Community connection, we saw that. And of course, exercise, right? Exercise directly impacts our mental health. Because if we're stagnant for too long, our energy gets low. And when our energy is low, our thoughts are lower. Our thoughts are, the yucky thoughts, the heavy thoughts. We're mad at ourselves. We're not doing anything. When we're moving, our energy is high, and so our thoughts get higher. So back to this, health is the largest industry in the U.S. I mean, we see this. These are actual, numbers. We're looking at $1.54 trillion industry. It's big money. It is big, big money. Hospitals, trillions of dollars. Pharmaceuticals. And this is not like this in every country. This is this United States, right? They dominate the U.S. economy. It is the dominating industry. Number one industry. Dominating by far. If I can keep you sick, I'm making money. I'm making money. And you're reliant on me. And guess how they do it? Fear-based messaging. Have we all heard these things? Don't wait until it's too late to protect your heart. These sort of things. What would happen to your family if you weren't here tomorrow? Stop aging in its tracks. Like all these things. The inevitable is time is going by and years are going by. So it's the one thing we can't control. It's like the only thing, I put that in there. The only thing that we can't control in this world is said to be certain except death and taxes. That's the one thing we know. We're all on our way towards death. And yet it is the one thing we fear the most. How about we just embrace it and live? This is part of life. Everything is a cycle and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But living in fear stops us from experiencing the fullness of now. So it's the one thing that's inevitable, yet it's the one thing we fear. And it stops us from everything that we do. It regulates every thought. And they know that. So we have this, anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, anti-this, anti-that, anti-whatever. That's how everything comes at you with anti. Why are we not being sold things that are for? Youthful vitality. I've always thought that would be such a lovely name for something. Because you know what? That doesn't stimulate you the same way. It doesn't drive that fear-based buying desire. Yeah? If I can tell you you're not enough and you need this to be valuable, guess what you'll do? You'll buy it. So we have to use these terms. We have to get you into the lowest place, into fear, into I'm not enough. And then now you'll buy. So this messaging is everywhere. And it's damaging us because our brain takes it in and believes it, translates it, and now it becomes our reality. It's the filters, like I said yesterday. It's the lens we start to look at the world through. In fact, we look at the mirror and what are we looking for? All of that. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking in the mirror anymore and seeing, oh, look at me. I'm like, yeah, looking good. we don't do that. We're not looking for what's right. We're looking for what's wrong. And guess what shows up? What we're looking for. You want to stop seeing wrinkles and this and that and all the things? Stop looking for them. Stop looking for them. It sounds freaking insane, but try it and then talk to me about it. Just try it for once. Just try it. You bought into the other side. Why not buy into mine? And just for a moment, stop looking for it and see what happens. Fear versus happiness. We only have these two energies. Remember I talked about it the other day. It was contraction or it was resistance or acceptance. That's it. Those are your two energies. It's the same as fear and happiness. Fear is contraction, yes? If I'm fear, am I contracted? If I'm in fear? Yeah. And when I'm happy, am I expanded? Yeah. And when I'm in fear, I want to isolate, don't I? I don't want to be around anybody. It's survival. Yeah, it's me against you. Why would I want you? But when I'm happy, guess what I want to do? Sprinkle that on everybody. I want you all to be happy. When we're in love, what do we want? Everybody to be in love. But when I don't love myself and I don't love, then guess what? I don't want I can't be happy for you in love if I'm not. If I'm not feeling good about myself, I could pretend to be happy for you, but it's not going to be real. It's not possible. Because you being in love is just a reminder I'm not. And it makes me feel worse. That's the way it is. So what do we need to do then? If we really want to support one another, if we really want to have a beautiful, amazing community and have longevity and all this, we have to find our way to happiness. And happiness is really just being content. It's saying I'm enough right as I am. I'm perfect. I'm whole. And my body knows how to heal itself. And if I give it time and I give it what it needs, it's going to do magic for me because that's what it's always done. Think of the magic in your body. You put food into it, what happens? It fucking does it. You don't know. It does all kinds of things. And it's crazy because people want to sit there and tell me that if they change the way that they eat, then they're going to have more nutrients. Have you ever seen somebody that's like, yeah, I'm a vegan that eats only raw food and this, and they look like they're freaking emaciated and their eyes are popping out and they look like this? You know, that has nothing to do with the diet. It never does. It just doesn't. It has everything to do with your body's systems. If I've got a shitty system that doesn't know how to detect what nutrients is good and what my body needs and how to utilize those nutrients, then does it matter what kind of magic I'm putting into it? I could put the very best food in the world into this system, but if the system's broke, does it matter? No, so we have to have a powerful system. And then, like we watch children, they eat freaking McDonald's, and they still get up and bounce and run and have energy, and they look and they're eating freaking like toxic chemicals. You know what I mean? It doesn't, because their body is so amazing. It's able to extract out of this chemical something to run on. But then we start to destroy those systems just a little bit. We interject, we go to the doctor, we do this, we stop it, we believe these stories that my body's not good enough, I should be doing this, and we start to do all these things to it, and now it can't quite run as good. And then we're putting these same foods into it, and the body doesn't know how to pull the nutrients out. It doesn't matter how good you eat, it doesn't matter how many supplements you take if your systems aren't there, if the energetic flow is not happening. It's like half of your electricity is turned off. This engine isn't going, it doesn't matter what you put into it, right? It doesn't matter if you put the best light bulb into a lamp, but you don't plug it in. You're not going to have light, even if it's the best fucking light bulb you've ever seen, right? The same thing is true in your body. So, what is your relationship with your body? How many of you were taken to a doctor when you were born and told this person with the lab coat, they have the authority over your body. They'll tell you everything that you need to know about this. You don't have to learn about what your organs are or how this works. This guy will do it for you. Yeah? Is that true? I mean, imagine, is that fair? Because, so I was talking about this the other day, me, right? I don't like to divulge my age, but you're gonna throw me into a bucket with a whole bunch of other people my age, and say we're the same. There could be somebody who's never worked out a day in their life. They've been, sitting stagnant for a long time. Maybe they've been bedridden, but we're the same age, so we should go get the same blood drawn, and we should go through these same processes because are you kidding me right now? How would that be true? How is that even possible? But the doctor doesn't care because they're throwing me into a bucket. And that is not, we are all individual. Your body is completely different than mine. So who knows your body best? I would pray it's you. I would pray you had the autonomy. I would pray that you didn't just listen to the doctor because they had a coat on. That you listened to your body, that you started talking to your body. One of the things that a lot of people might be annoyed by me, but if you come up to me and you start talking to me and you say anything bad about your body, I'm going to stop you in your tracks. Please don't do that in front of me. I'm going to stand up for your body. I'll be, because I'll be your body's advocate. I'm going to be like, your body's perfect. Please don't tell me it's broken. No, it's not. That's beautiful. It's perfect. And it can hear you. Stop that. Say something sweet right now to your body. Tell it how amazing it is. We don't ever do that, do we? It's a practice I started several years ago. You know, I've been doing obviously yoga meditation, but I actually started just sitting down and going through each part of my body, eyes closed, and thinking, seeing if I could just imagine my toes. Not the toes the way I see them with the painted toenails and all that shit. Like the bones. Can I see the bones in there? And can I see them as the healthiest bones? Can I imagine the bones of my feet healthy? Like moist. And the marrow inside has so much nutrients and it's beautiful, like the best, like nutrient-rich soil you can imagine. And then it might take me 10 minutes the first time to sit down and see my feet that way. And then once I can see my feet, I move to my ankles. So imagine how much time this could take to go through a whole body. And by the way, that was just the bones. That was just the bones. Now I've got to add on. So then I go to my muscles, and I imagine what muscles look like and how beautiful, healthy muscles might look. And I picture that through my whole body, starting at my feet all the way up. It's powerful, I promise you. And then I add on to that. Now I'm going to go in and sit with my organs, every single one of them. And guess what you're going to find out? A lot of real negative shit you've been thinking about your organs, especially women. Place a lot of negative energy into this area, you know, because that's what we've been told, like it's nothing, you know, once you get past a certain age. So what if I could make you sit with it for a while and really like just put some beautiful fertile energy right into the womb, into, you know, your ovaries and, you know, all of this. So I just sit through and I've learned a lot about my body just sitting there in this way, going through every single bone, every single muscle. And then I get to the skin and I picture the skin glowing. I picture my teeth, the roots of my teeth, all of it. Why don't we give our body that kind of time? Instead, we only just look for what's wrong. We wait for it to fall apart, and then we go, okay, now this is what we're dealing with, yeah? We don't even sit with it and go, why is this going wrong? Ask it, what does it need? Mostly what it needs is your attention. Remember what I told you the other day, that the two most valuable things that you have is where you spend your time and where you pay your attention. That's value. Spend and pay. Where you spend your time, where you pay your attention. And your body needs you to spend a little bit of time with it. What if we just did that? And so the first time I did that, you know, sat there, yeah, it took a while, you know. Second time, much easier. Boom, because I could see it right away. I could feel it right away. And there would only be certain parts that needed me a little bit longer and I would sit with. I sit with my eyes and I have fantastic eyesight. I love how people want to tell you what's supposed to happen to your eyes after a certain age. I love it when people want to tell you what's supposed to happen with your teeth and what systems are supposed to fall apart. And I just cannot wait to prove it all wrong. Because I spend time exercising my eyes, sending energy into my eyes, looking at things. You know what happens when we're older? The only thing that happens is we stop really seeing stuff. Children will sit and look at a raindrop for a fucking hour. Look at this little raindrop. They're following it. They're watching it, right? For us, we wouldn't even see the raindrop. It would just disappear in the mess of like, it's like we're just looking through things. The brain is filling it in. It's an expectation. We no longer are seeing things. So I like to go on nature walks and force myself to go up to a tree and look at the bark of a tree for a while until it comes in real clear. And then I go a little deeper and I really just inspect it. I might flip a leaf over and look at it. When was the last time you did that? It takes a while, but your eyes will get exercised again and they'll remember what they're supposed to do. And they'll do it. They just need you to lean in, you know, be with them in that way. This is back to the red car, you know, red car, blue car thing we talked about. Like, what are we looking for is what we're going to find. If you're looking for sickness, and when you go to a doctor, what are they looking for? What's wrong? And we spend a lot of time, depending on the doctors, and we go there with a perfectly healthy body and let them tell us what's wrong. And then we walk out, worried about it, thinking this is wrong. No, it's not. It's just what your body's doing right now. It's just that system. And if we ask the body what it needs, it can regulate itself, come back into balance. I'm not quite sure why he's here, but I like it. No, it's it's the it's the reminder that to get muscles like this, it's back to that destruction. We often have to destroy things to build things. So the body does that too. The body does that. It might go through processes where it's destroying. I embrace sickness. If I don't even believe in it. I don't believe in it. I think if my body is going through something that a doctor may tell me is sickness, I view it as an upgrade. I think my body's just going through some sort of system where it's fixing itself in some way because some new thing, an ecosystem has changed, something new in our environment has changed, and the brilliance of my body is it's retuning itself, recalibrating itself to this new environment. Do you not think that we have the radio waves. Every single time they up it from like 3G to 4G to 5G to FG, so whatever the hell it is now, right? Do you not think that the frequency in the air that your tuning fork of a body is somehow picking this up and having to change and having to retune? It does. And it might look like a little bit of a sickness. You might need to rest for a little while your body recalibrates itself. And then you're fine. But we go, oh God, something terrible happened. I caught this. No, you didn't. You're recalibrating. It's beautiful. Children get sick all the time, yes? Children get sick all the time. We think it's because, there's tons of these children going into... No, it's because children, their bodies are so pure. They're just so pure. And so this is the best time, by the way, for them to start to get into the earth and into these environments and into all of these things so the body can start to kind of take on, this is where we're living. These are the bacteria here. These are the viruses here. And the body's just purifying itself, taking these in, recalibrating. We stop that process. You stop a child from going through that, their immune systems are going to be weak. They're seeing a lot of this now. And they'll be less healthy. Because of it. Because it is a beautiful gift going through these processes, just, giving your body that time to recalibrate. Thoughts, words, and actions. What time is it? Are we there? Yeah. So oftentimes I just think of, karma to me, what karma is. And karma really is this. It's thoughts, words, and actions. The one thing, if you could take anything away from any of these talks with me, what if this is it? Can your thoughts, words, and actions be aligned? So that goes back to what I said the other day about if you're going to eat that food, at least please think good thoughts about it before you eat it. If you're thinking, I should not be doing this is really bad for me, and then you eat it, is that aligning your thoughts, your words, and your actions? No. That's your whole system completely out of whack. You've just put something that you believe you shouldn't into your body. And so I often say, we talked about the water, right? The way the water was impacted by the words and the thoughts. So imagine if you're having dissonance in your body as you're about to eat this thing, what that food is taking on. Yeah? It's poison now. I remember one time I had gone to a yoga festival, and it was in Whistler. And so we'd gone all the way up the gondola, all the way up to the side of the mountain. And we get up there to take a class, and I realized I don't even have any water, like a dummy. I'm all the way up on the top of this mountain. It's like a million degrees. We're inside this building. I'm about to take a class. It's probably going to be 2 hours, and I don't have water. So I'm like wandering around this building looking for water, and I find this sink. And so I'm like pouring this water into a cup going out of desperation. I might, who knows. But it pours in, and it looks a little foggy. So I'm standing here like this, like, I'm not sure. And what was so funny, I swear, this is not even going to seem real, because it doesn't seem real to me. Out of nowhere, it's like, I turn around, there's a monk standing there. And the monk is like, is there something wrong? And I said, well, do you think I should drink this? The monk grabs the water in both hands like this and goes, sure. and hands it back to me like a little prayer over the and I was like, oh my God, what just happened? This is magic. You know, there's actually a documentary about the power of water, though, and how that, really it does take on this medicinal possibility. You can make literal water medicine just by telling it. You know, it's really quite powerful. The structures of water and the way that it moves into the body and the way just water itself, if your thoughts, your words, and your actions are aligned. Right? We see now, all over the United States or places that we walk, people often be carrying water bottles with them everywhere. But if you go somewhere like India, you will not see this. And that's a place where it's really effing hot. What you will see is like maybe a carafe of water that they set somewhere, because that water then gets filled with intention and with the space and with the energy. It's a much more intentional process to drink the water. You're aware of what you're drinking. So I just always encourage you to be in that space of, whether are my thoughts, my words, and my actions aligned? And it's real easy. How many of you say, wake up in the morning and think about the things that you have to do? Or the things that you should do? How many of you tell that story? Yeah, all the time. And it's heavy, right? I have to do this. I should do this. And so many of us are carrying that burden all day, every single day. How easy is it for you to change that story and decide, I get to, or I'm choosing to? You don't have to. You don't need that house and that car, so you don't have to go to work. You don't have to do any of that. That's a choice. You're choosing to have a lifestyle. You're choosing these things. It looks like we've got somebody coming in, so I don't know. You guys are here for a talk. I am going to finish up here. How about this? This is where we'll finish today. How beautiful is this? So start looking for what is right and acknowledge those things. Instead of looking for what's wrong, instead of going to the doctor, looking for what's wrong, instead of waiting for things to fall apart, what if you start to acknowledge all the beautiful ways that your body is functioning right now, all the ways that it is working perfectly and amazing, right? Every single one of you, I don't care what you have going on, you can all find some amazing things happening within your body. Speak kindly to your body. Notice when you start to say things out loud that your body might be able to hear, where you're talking badly. It's broken. This has never worked. I've always had this crappy blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's listening. And what if we just told it something else? What if we were kind to our body? Close your eyes and see perfect skin, health, and vitality. Sit with your body. Maybe tonight when you get in bed, go through each part of your body and just picture it in divine health. I thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you. Yes. Love you so much. Tonight, actually, 9:15 is our sound healing again. So up on the decks. I hope I see you all there. Thank you so much.